The law matters, and we're here to help you understand it a bit better. Welcome once again. I'm Debbie Moraes, your host and moderator. As we tell you, this program has been designed to make legal topics accessible to you. We bring you legal information, real-life examples, and practical guidance to help you navigate the law with confidence. A better understanding of the law empowers you to protect yourself, your family, and your business at times better. Sometimes you'll find that you can handle some issues yourself, and that's great. Other times you may decide to seek outside professional counsel, and hopefully with a bit more information, you'll be better equipped to handle the issues that you address, and so will the legal counsel that you enlist. Our goal, as always, is to help you save time, money, and always to achieve the best possible results. As always, we want to first welcome and thank Attorney David Bizarre from the Bizarre and Associates law firm in East Providence, who continues to weigh in on the topics that we address each session. And together, David and I would like to welcome today our special guest, who is Patrick Guida, who is president currently of the Rhode Island Bar Association, and he's with Duffy & Sweeney, which is a division of Stevens and Lee in Providence. We welcome you. We understand that you bring four decades of legal services to institutional banking clients throughout New England, and also have a specialty niche in financing of healthcare provider transactions, among many other things. So we're very happy to today address the topic of the Bar Association, and we have not only the current president of the Bar Association, but some of you may remember also we have a past president of the Rhode Island Bar Association. David is a former president. I think it was 2019 and 20?
19 and 20.
I did my homework.
2020.
Good. So together you can answer this, but let's toss the ball first to our guest. So we want to know, there's a Rhode Island Bar Association. What purpose does it serve? Whom do you help, and how do you do that? And what should we know? We know that you do more than just have serve the lawyers, but you also deal with teaching and other advisory roles. Right. Tell us about your mission.
Sure. So it's important to know that the Rhode Island Bar Association is a mandatory bar. That means that all lawyers practicing in Rhode Island have to be a member of our bar association. Not true in Massachusetts. It's a voluntary bar association. And among the various states, I think 33 are mandatory and the rest are voluntary, like Massachusetts. But primarily, we have two objectives. Our objectives are to serve the public to the extent that they have legal issues, and also to serve our members so that they can perform their duties as lawyers for the Rhode Island community better. And there are various programs that involve us in providing those services to the community, to our lawyer members, and also to stay engaged with what's happening in the law generally on the national level, so that we can make certain that our lawyers perform at the very best possible way.
Sounds good. So I have one other question, and then I would like both of you to weigh in if you would. But from what I understood, I saw the Rhode Island Bar Association, which has as its website ribar.com, should you be interested in checking that out. So there's the Rhode Island Bar Association, and then there's the foundation. Nonprofits, can you explain their relationship and the distinction?
Well, I think that between the two of us, we can certainly do that. The foundation is there to support the Rhode Island Bar Association in delivery of its services. For example, the foundation owns the building that we perform our services from in Cranston. And they also support us by providing scholarships to both prospective attorneys and to attorneys who are already practicing, and to the public generally. So they offer scholarships on an annual basis, and all of that is done primarily, I think, in conjunction with their work with the Bar Association.
Yep. So there are two separate entities. As Patrick said, the Rhode Island Bar Association is the organization that deals with the lawyers and the public and the courts in assisting in those areas. The Rhode Island Bar Foundation manages an endowment. And the endowment is set up, as Patrick was saying, to fund scholarships for people going to law school that we hope that we help them and they come back and help the community. And we also provide funding to certain nonprofits that meet a criteria that's been set by the Rhode Island Bar Foundation when it was set up to promote civil knowledge of the law, justice, services. So some of the bigger beneficiaries of the foundation would be like Rhode Island Legal Services, the Rhode Island Bar Association Volunteer Lawyer Program. Anything that promotes justice in the state is, in a nonprofit fashion, could be a beneficiary of the foundation. So it's an endowment. It's a foundation to promote justice.
Sounds good. Sounds expansive. And I think we have time, and I'm looking forward to having you each have an occasion to explore those programs a little bit more. So each president who comes in has, well, you have an overall mission, but tell me about your goals. Do you have specific goals that you've been working on that are different from your predecessors? And I assume there'll be someone else next in the queue shortly.
Right. So just to recap a bit, every president, of course, wants to make certain that the existing programs are functioning at their optimum level. So, for example, with the monies that come in through membership and other sources, we take care of and provide volunteer lawyers for people who are in need and can't afford to engage an attorney on their own. We also have other programs provide assistance financially to potential clients who come to the Bar Association seeking legal services. And then on top of that, we engage with the Rhode Island court system, primarily the Supreme Court, in making certain that the standards for which lawyers are expected to perform in Rhode Island are at a high level and that those standards are maintained. And of course, the education of lawyers themselves, so that we provide several dozens of courses during the course of the year to maintain the professional development of attorneys providing legal services in Rhode Island. For me personally, my add-on, if you will, is that I wanted to provide an opportunity for more engagement with students through our law-related education programs, and we have several. I put an emphasis on that this year. It seems to be bearing fruit. We had a very successful Constitution Day back in the fall, where an attorney and one of the judges who are engaged to provide judicial services in Rhode Island got together, and we would go out and we'd visit a school. I was at a school in Pawtucket with Supreme Court Justice Long, and we were actually joined there by our Secretary of State, Greg Amore, and made a presentation to the students. It's a very nice opportunity. The students are very engaged, and I think that this is just a magnificent way in order to communicate to the students not only what their rights are. For example, one of our topics, or primary topic in fact, was the First Amendment rights under the United States Constitution, but also the role that lawyers fulfill in making certain that we advance the opportunity for access to justice.
That sounds very exciting. I hope somebody videoed that and that you can
I believe
use
that
it.
one was videotaped.
That's
yeah.
excellent. That's a great outreach program.
And then another program that's even more popular is our Law Day program, which I've also emphasized. That's coming up on May 1st of this year. It's a Friday. And again, it's an attorney and a representative from the court system who get together, visit a high school. I did Barrington High School last year with Judge Nugent, and we're there for over an hour engaging with the students, again explaining their rights under the United States Constitution and explaining about what lawyers and judges do during the course of the day. The students are very interested, both in my experiences in other schools and in Barrington. What do lawyers do? What do judges do? So that's an opportunity. We have four other programs that offer these law-related education opportunities. The Constitution Day I mentioned, and the Law Day I mentioned. We also have lawyers in the classroom where on any given day, a teacher in Rhode Island can engage with the Bar Association to find an attorney to come out and visit his or her classroom for respect to and discussing a particular issue or some law-related issue.
That's great.
That the students in that classroom might be interested in. We also have a program that allows for our attorneys to go out into the community to visit with civic groups and to address issues that they might have or raise and want to have the opportunity and resource of a Rhode Island attorney to explain whatever the legal issue might be.
That's terrific. David.
Yeah, so as Patrick was saying, he comes in with a certain emphasis, I guess you would call it, which was this educational component to what the Bar Association does. And as Patrick said, we have some things already in place, like the Law Day and that reaching out that teachers can do for a lawyer in the classroom. And also another one that I think is very significant is Ask a Lawyer, which is that a lawyer will go to a senior center or wherever they're requested to go and meet with people and answer questions free of charge, just to give them some direction. It's not to take the case. It's just to advise them on where they might turn and what they might want to do. So there's the Ask a Lawyer program. So there's a number of outreach programs. And what Patrick did, and he's done very successfully, is emphasize those and make sure that that is what he's leading with. And he's done a good job with that.
That's great to hear about the outreach. And David?
Yeah, so when I was president of the bar, my emphasis would have been, and I say would have been, and I'll explain why in a second, rule of law and civility. So Rhode Island has a great bar, and the reason we generally have very good civility amongst lawyers is because we're a small bar. And it's not like a big state where you might see a lawyer once and never see them again, and you just can be a jerk because that's who you are. You can't do that in Rhode Island. Because if you do that, it's going to come around, you're going to be on the other side of something. So we generally have good civility, but I wanted to promote that as for new lawyers coming in who may not know, well, it's a small bar, you need to know this, and also the rule of law and how important the role of lawyers is in protecting and promoting the rule of law. I got sidetracked with COVID.
I was going to say, based on that year, I was going to ask you if that had happened, and I imagine it would. So.
Yeah, which affected both me and the bar.
Yes, of course we remember that. So when you think about the programs that you offer, I also had seen at the same time, looking at the Bar Association's website, that you had, I think I counted 28 committees.
Actually, over 30.
Over 30 now, okay. That's pretty expansive, and
Yes.
I know some part of it has to do with the Superior Court, Supreme Court, the bar, the bench, but workers' comp and AI, and it went on and on and on. How many people are on the in the Bar Association? Right? I know everybody in the state, as you said earlier, but is everyone assigned to or volunteering or volunteered for a committee, and how does that work?
Not everyone. We have great representation. Among those 30-plus committees are committees that are topic-specific, such as real estate or debtors and creditors' rights, trusts and estates. So we have these committees that study and focus on law in those areas, and then can bring the benefit of their work, their due diligence, to the rest of the Bar Association. And that's largely, that portion of it is largely intended to provide the professional development that lawyers need in order to perform at their very best for the benefit of our clients.
And as Patrick is saying, it's specific to a certain area. And so the lawyers that will volunteer to be on those committees are lawyers that are interested or practice primarily in those areas. And that's kind of the service to the courts that I was talking about. So if you have a family court bench bar committee or a Rhode Island Traffic Tribunal bench bar committee, there will be a representative from the bench, the courts, and from the Bar Association, and they can talk about things in the court that might need to be improved, or what are the best practices, or how can we help with certain things. And for instance, in family court, I know from having practiced there in the past that there is a bit of an issue with pro se representation, meaning folks who want to represent themselves. And how can the Bar Association help the bench deal with those kinds of issues? And they do raise a lot of different types of issues. And so I think we developed over the course of a number of years the ability to do what we would call limited scope representation, where a lawyer doesn't have to enter a case from beginning to end for somebody where they couldn't afford that lawyer and maybe didn't need the lawyer for the whole thing, but needed help with one aspect of the case. So the lawyer could enter, help them draft the final judgment perhaps, if that's what it is, and then withdraw without having to go through the normal process. So you look at different aspects of different practices, and that's what these committees serve.
It's good to know. I'm sure that most people don't know about these things in Rhode Island Bar Association or even in Mass, unless you've had an occasion to connect with you. How would you know? I'm glad that we're doing this. This is a good service for people. I was going to ask too, when you were talking about the various committees that you've had, you also have a lot of public service, a lot of outreach, and those are for the public. Let's talk about the public and how you're actually serving them in other ways in addition to what David just described. What other public service programs do you want to highlight?
Well, clearly, access to justice encompasses a number of our programs. Mm-hmm. It certainly includes our programs for either free or reduced price representation.
How does that work?
Well, if someone calls the Bar Association and explains that they need an attorney for one or another matter, let's say it's for a probate matter, we have lawyers identified as expert in that area who have indicated that they're available to volunteer to represent someone. That said, in order to determine whether someone's entitled to either free or reduced price services, there's an analysis, screening process, if you will, to determine whether or not the person in need of the services qualifies for free or reduced price services. And that's based to a large extent on federal poverty standards, because we want to be fair in how we make those determinations. So that's a very important one. Then these other various outreach programs, some of which we've already explained, where we go into a community, we go into schools, we make ourselves available really for almost any issue that a member of the public or a public service organization would like to engage us for. So it's primarily through those services that we engage with the public.
Yeah. So to just follow up on that, I think we still have the Speakers Bureau, which is lawyers who say if you need someone to come speak on a certain topic and they you contact the Bar Association, they'll send a lawyer out to whatever organization or folks that are looking to have someone present something on the law. So is that, and there's the lawyer referral service, which is generally available for someone who may not qualify for the volunteer lawyer program or the reduced fee lawyer referral service, but want somebody to represent them. So if they call the bar, they'll make a referral to an attorney on that panel who practice in the particular area that you're looking for. So those are some of the outreach programs.
Exactly.
So one follow-up to this, knowing that you're serving the public, and I've seen that on various places on your website and talking to David before and you today, that you're there to serve the public, and it says individuals on the website. So how about a small business, and I do mean not a large Hasbro size or an enormous business, but a smaller business.
Sure.
Are you in a position to help them if they are having a minor issue or something as perhaps as serious as a fraud situation among two partners in business?
Absolutely. And again, we might just, if they have the ability to pay, we'll refer them to an attorney who would have expertise in that area and who's indicated a willingness to speak to a lawyer referred through the Bar Association. So there's that, the reduced price, but for a small business particularly, we certainly include within our services those that are available and created to accommodate them.
Yeah. And the way that referral system works, it's a person that's going to pick up the phone and call. So if you're the president of a company or a director of a company and you have a question that you think needs to be addressed, you do it the same way. And the lawyer referral service provides a free half-hour consultation. So even if you don't hire that lawyer, you at least can consult and get a free half-hour of advice.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm
That's
glad you
good
mentioned
information.
that. Yeah, right.
I also saw one segment that referred to veterans or veterans outreach program, and how does that come into play with the Bar Association?
We have a special program to assist veterans and seniors.
And seniors.
Seniors as well, which again may well qualify for a free or reduced price service.
And there's a panel for artists as well.
Artists as well.
Yeah, so there's a group of lawyers who may have some expertise or experience in the area that might be something that is unique to an artist or someone in that world. So they have a panel for that.
Let me ask you, have people been calling, whether they're one of these groups that you're mentioning, and I see now also that there's you have a DEI committee, so that's...
Again, that's a part of access to justice.
Access
but
to justice.
We're pleased that you mentioned that because we have a very robust DEI program through the Bar Association. We have a committee that is focused on providing DEI and making certain that the rest of the Bar Association the other Bar Association committees are recognizing and adhering to our general DEI principles.
Good to know. Do many people each year access your service, both on the individual or one of the groups or small business?
Thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah. Thousands.
That's good to know.
Yeah, we get a report every month, usually from Patrick, that how many people contacted the volunteer lawyer program, how many people contacted lawyer referral service, and it is thousands.
Yes, thousands.
And I understand too, and I've had an occasion to take advantage of it, the Rhode Island Bar Association has the Bar Journal. Who reads that? And I did not know that you were bringing that, but good for you. So what is the Bar Journal about? What's its purpose, apart from advertising, which we also appreciate in my business?
The Bar Journal is, in effect, a support for the attorneys in the state to provide them with knowledge and information about current events, maybe areas of law that are developing, and in fact providing very specific instruction on how to access some of the resources that are available in one or another particular area of the law. We also, through the journal, provide information on what the upcoming CLE, continuing legal education programs are.
Thank you.
What they're going to involve, how to access them, about developments with respect to individual lawyers, what they're doing, if there might be some initiative that they're engaged in, or if there's some particular interest of a lawyer and they want to write an article about an area of the law. We encourage our lawyers to write articles on areas of the law that are developing and to have them published in our bar journal.
Not to put you on the spot, but I think I'm going to put you on the spot, maybe you too, David. If we had a president who was concerned about one of the large law firms or a particular set of lawyers who did not serve his interests or needs, you understand what that story is about out of the Washington lawyers and that issue that's been going on. Would the Bar Association step up and try to help the law firms? Would they give them advice, or is that something that the association as a whole would not enter into?
I don't know that we can. Right?
That's what I was going to ask, because you have your own set of ethics and rules and regs and what you do.
Remember, we're a mandatory bar.
Right.
And so the only things that we can weigh into, because there was a case out of California many years ago.
The Keller case.
Keller case. And it said that a mandatory bar cannot lobby or take a position or do things unless it's in the advancement of the practice of law.
Right.
As a whole,
as opposed to like a certain political side or another political side. We don't take political positions. We can't. We can only advance the rule of law, so to speak.
So, in fact, we are not permitted to even lobby the General Assembly in Rhode Island in support or adverse to any particular bill that might be introduced for changing the law. We have to stay on the sideline while that process goes through the General Assembly enactment process, unaffected by whatever the Bar Association might tell them. It is only in circumstances where a law might impact the actual practice itself, just among the lawyers and not the greater community, that the Rhode Island Bar Association could support legislation that would go to the General Assembly and either support it or be adverse to it.
It's kind of the term of art is it has to be germane to the practice of law. And so, if it were something about lawyers having to take a certain number of free cases, well, that's germane to the practice of law. We might be able to weigh in on that.
Makes sense.
But if it were about any kind of law that might affect somebody one way or another, where people could be on either side of that, we don't take a position.
Especially if it's a political issue. Mm-hmm. We go to great pains to stay clear of anything that might be politically controversial.
Interesting. But of course, lawyers can be lobbyists. They are.
They are.
We know many in the state
But
who are.
not for the Bar
But not for the Bar
Association.
Association, which is the distinction I think.
I'm actually involved with another organization that regularly promotes legislation before the Rhode Island General Assembly. I have to make it very clear that I'm representing this other organization rather than the Rhode Island Bar Association when I address either a committee or another body of the General Assembly.
This has been wonderful. David, we always say thank you to you, and special thanks to you, Mr. Kita, for your information. It's wonderful to hear that there are associations, the Rhode Island Bar Association and Mass. I hope this encourages you to check out your state's association, Bar Association. Please stay tuned to The Law Matters. As we say, it matters to you. Thank you for tuning in.